Hello everyone, and welcome to the safety training session. My name is Ben Wallace, and this session will be going over how to properly and safely lift in the workplace. The only materials needed for this course are a standard size box, which you see in front of me, and a pair of scissors, which we'll be using later on. Alright, so just so everybody's aware, the objective of this training session is to identify the procedures for safe lifting in the workplace. And the reason this is important is because 36% of all injuries that result in employees taking time off due to injury is shoulder and back related. Now, a lot of these can be eliminated by using these safe lifting techniques that we are about to go over. So just so you know, that's why this session is important. I hope that all of you can get a lot out of it, and I hope that it will help you avoid injury in the future. Now, OSHA recommends two core elements to stay safe while performing lifts. The first is to use proper lifting techniques, which we're about to go over, and the second is to be able to recognize and avoid potential hazards. And we'll go over that a little later. So let's get right into it, and let's talk about proper lifting techniques. Now, there are 5 things to keep in mind when you're lifting that will help you avoid an injury. The first is to always warm up first. If you're about to lift, you need to make sure that your muscles are good and loose. You want to go ahead and stretch out, stretch your legs, stretch your arms, stretch your back out a little bit. I mean, you may even want to do a few jumping jacks just to get your heart going, just to get your body loose and ready to lift whatever it is that you're about to lift. So it's very important to always warm up first. Okay, so going into the lifting techniques, the first thing you're going to want to remember is to always stand as close as possible to the load that you're about to lift. And I'll demonstrate now. You don't want to be really far away from the object and bending over at the back and lifting it. What that's going to do is cause you to injure your lower back. It's the cause of many injuries that people have while working when they are lifting. So what you're going to want to do is get as close as possible, get your feet as close as possible to whatever it is you're about to lift. You're going to want to bend at the knee, because you've probably heard that old saying before, lift with your legs. That's very true. You don't want to bend your back. You want to bend at the knee and use your legs, which are your most powerful muscles, to lift the load, the materials, whatever it is you're about to lift. So again, standing close to the object, we're bending at the knee. We're going to get a good grip on whatever it is that we're about to lift. You can see on this box here, it's got the handles to grab onto. Always make sure that you've got a good grip, a good grasp on whatever it is you're about to lift. Very important. So we're close to our object, we're bending at the knee, we've got a good grip, and we're going to go ahead and bring it up using our legs only. So as you can see, I kept my back straight there, I lifted with my legs, and that's the proper way to do it to avoid injury. So when we go to set the box or whatever it is back down, we're going to do the exact same motion, only in reverse. Bend at the knee, keep the back straight, and we're done with the lift. Always important to keep in mind to, whenever you're setting something down, set it down in reverse. You don't want to be spinning around with the object that you're holding. That's only going to do you harm. That could hurt your back. It's not going to be good. So just always set things down in reverse. So guys, that's the proper lifting technique. As you can see on the handout that we've given everybody, there's a diagram on the bottom below the dotted line that also shows this technique. If you would now, I'd like you all to use your scissors. Go ahead and cut that out and keep that diagram with you. That will be good if you ever forget how you're supposed to lift. You have this with you. It'll be a good reminder, and hopefully it'll be useful to everyone. So go ahead and cut at the dotted line there. Keep that little diagram. Hopefully it'll help you in the future. Okay, so we've gone over the proper lifting techniques. Now we're going to talk about how you recognize and avoid potential hazards when you're performing lifts in the workplace. And there are a few things to remember to avoid these types of situations. The first is to always be aware of the object that you're about to lift. This object's about 20 pounds, normal load, but OSHA recommends that you don't lift anything over 50 pounds. So again, if it's over 50 pounds, do not try to lift it. At least do not try to lift it on your own. If you have to, go and get help. Go and have a partner help lift it with you. But you should never lift anything over 50 pounds on your own. Another thing to be aware of is you need to try to avoid high frequency lifting, which is doing the same lifting motions over and over. You do that, your muscles tense up. You're doing the same thing over and over. You're more likely to have pulls, strains. That's where a lot of lower back and shoulder injuries can come from. So you need to avoid that high frequency type of lifting if possible. Another type of lifting that you should be aware of trying to avoid is long duration lifting. You saw me when I lifted this up earlier. I lifted it up, put it where it needed to go, set it back down. I wasn't sitting there holding the box, putting strain on my back muscles, shoulder muscles. I knew where I was going with the load, picked it up, took it there, set it down. What you don't want to do is just sit there and hold it, because that's going to cause you nothing but trouble. And the last thing that you need to be mindful of is the environmental factors that may affect you while you're performing these types of activities. If you're lifting in very cold environments, very cold weather, probably need to take a little bit more time with your warm-up. Make sure those muscles are good and loose. Do another minute or two of stretching, because you don't want to have that cold weather cause any pulls or strains when you're going to lift. Another type of environment that you should try to avoid is very hot temperatures. When you're lifting in very hot temperatures, it can cause things such as dehydration, fatigue will set on much quicker. So that's just something to be aware of when you're lifting in very, very hot temperatures or environments. So that's all that I have as far as the proper lifting techniques and the things to be mindful of to avoid potential hazards in the workplace. So I just want to thank you all for coming out to this training session. I hope that you got a lot out of it. And I'd just like to end with a little quote, and that quote is, "Accidents hurt, safety doesn't." So just think about that. You practice proper safety techniques. It doesn't do anything that's going to hurt you. It doesn't take any more time than it normally would to perform the same types of lifts, but you're much less likely to have an accident or an injury. So let's just try to practice these safety measures that we just went over. I think they'll help you in the future. And again, I want to thank you all, and that will conclude this training session.